guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a full face of me using Maybelline products. I recently reviewed the new Lemonade Craze palette and the Burgundy Bar, and a lot of you requested for me to do a tutorial with the Burgundy Bar, so that is what I'm doing today. I know that you can find this on Amazon. Oh, one of the shadows is like popping out there. Or stick that back in. It's a little, coming out a little bit. So I'm going to use this eyeshadow palette today on my eyes, and I thought why not do kind of like a full face using Maybelline products since I am using the Burgundy Bar today. So I thought this would just kind of be a fun little twist on it. I will link that video where I mentioned both of the palettes down below. Out of the two, the Burgundy Bar was my preference over the two, but the Lemonade Craze one is pretty good in its own kind of way. So I will also link a video I did a couple months back of the my top 10 of Maybelline. That was when I still had like my navy blue background. So I will link that for you guys if you want to check that out as well. But today I have some like holy grail products, and I also have some new products I'm trying out. And one of the new products that I'm trying is the Master Prime by FaceStudio Primer Base. It's the Blur and Smooth one. And so what I want to do is I just kind of want to concentrate this right here on my cheeks to really smooth everything out and just kind of in my T-zone. It's like a lotion-y type primer, and I've never really tried anything like this before. Or I've never tried this product before. So it didn't really like fill it in super, you know, well or anything, but it doesn't feel oily on the skin, which I like because I do have oily skin. And then today I'm going to be using the kind of the full FitMe line. I mentioned in, I don't know what video it was, but I love the FitMe concealer and the FitMe powder together. And I'm not usually someone who like really believes or preaches that you have to use kind of everything in the same line. But I thought it would be kind of fun to test out how all three of these products, you know, the face or the foundation, the concealer, and the loose powder kind of all work together. Ooh, I need my actual pressed face powder, which is in my purse. Okay, I got it. We're good. So now we're going to move on to the foundation, and I'm using the FitMe Matte Poreless in 112 Natural Ivory. I pretty much grabbed this shade in all Maybelline foundations. I also love the Superstay Full Coverage one, and I love the Dream Cushion one as well. Now I'm using my Real Technique sponge, and in my April favorites, I did talk about the Maybelline sponge, and I really liked that. It was like $5. I liked the shape of it a lot, but after I filmed that video, maybe like 3 to 5 days later, it was starting to kind of break apart because I had watched it so many times and I had it for a while. So it lasted a long time. It just didn't last long enough for me to do this video with it. So I'm just going to take some on the back of my hand here and just kind of pounce it into my skin. I really like this foundation, and I think a lot of people do, and there's a good reason that it kind of has this cult following, because it is a good medium to full coverage foundation, and also the shade range is so good. You can find so many shades in this foundation, and I love that. I think the full range is at Target stores and at Walmart. I don't know if they have the full range anywhere else, but there's like 35 shades or something. Like they have a really, really good shade range of this foundation. And it's not overly mattifying. It's not like a really dry kind of moussey type texture. It's just a kind of like a standard liquid foundation. So even if you have more normal to dry skin, I don't think that this would be too dry on you. But if you are worried about that, they do make a FitMe Dewy Smooth one. So if you want a little more of a dewy kind of look, maybe try that one. I have never tried it because I don't have I have oily skin. So if you do have dry skin and you've tried that one, let us know in the comments below how you like it. Or if you've tried both, let us know kind of what the differences are, because I've never tried the Dewy Smooth one here because I'm just so oily. So I'm just going to kind of pounce this on the rest of my face here. Okay, so the foundation is on, and I know it looks a little light right now. For some reason, my camera doesn't really show like my skin tone evenly. It's kind of weird. And once I put like powder on, bronzer, it all works out. So I'm going to go in with the FitMe concealer, and I do have the shade 15 Fair. And usually I like to correct, but I don't have a Maybelline corrector. So, and this isn't really something I like need to do, especially today's Saturday. And I'm actually going to an amusement park where I live. It's called Kings Island. I'm sure if you're in the Cincinnati area or like in the tri-state of like Indiana, Kentucky, you've heard of it. And so I'm going there tonight with my boyfriend Corey. So I'm not looking to like be super, super glam. So it's okay if I don't get fully corrected. But this concealer, again, kind of has a cult like following, and there's a really good reason. As you guys can see, I mean, it's pretty good coverage. It's a nice, just creamy texture, you know, it's not overly sheer or anything like that. It covers well. You don't, you know, it's not the most full coverage drying concealer, but it's also not one that like is so sheer you don't see any of it. It doesn't sit weird on the skin. I think it's a really good concealer. I think Maybelline does concealers very, very well. I think that I love the, whatchamacallit, the dark circle eraser one. I know that also has a cult following. The Better Skin concealer is really good. That one is actually really good if you have dry skin or especially like dry under eyes. That one is a little bit more hydrating. What other one do I really love? Oh, if you have a lot to cover, the Master Conceal is really good. That's a super creamy concealer, so it would work really well under the eyes if you bake, especially, but it covers like real well. So I love that one. But yeah, I just think they do concealers really, really good. So, okay. So see, it looks pretty natural. It doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look overly dry. So I'm going to take a brush now, if I can get to it here. Okay. And I take the FitMe powder in Fair at 05. These run pretty dark, so I noticed that a lot of people with like fair to light, almost even to like medium skin tones, especially if they want to brighten, use the fair shade. So if you are someone who has dark skin and you struggle with finding a powder, especially at the drugstore, that has a good shade for you, check out this line. It might work pretty well for you. But I love this powder. It's so finely milled, but it's not like chalky looking. And because it does have a tint to it, it's not overly like powdery looking and like dry under the eyes. You can bake with this as well, which I have done sometimes if I do wear a more creamy concealer. But I don't feel like the Fit Me look needs a bake, you know. I think it does just fine with just a normal kind of setting with the brush. So I just really like this concealer and powder combo. I think it looks really natural and just really pretty on the skin. Now to set the entire face, I'm going to use the Better Skin Transforming Powder. This does have salicylic acid in it, so beware if your skin reacts weird to that. You're not going to want this. But me, I have oily skin, so I absolutely love this powder. I go through this powder so fast. I keep this in my purse. That's why I had to go grab it, because it is the best powder for touch-ups. It makes your skin look so stinking smooth. It's awesome. So I just kind of push it in to the skin, especially around my T-zone area, to make sure it's really nice and set. But for some reason, my skin really just likes this powder. It smooths it. It makes it look really nice and finished, but not super cakey, and just beautiful. I do get the shade Porcelain in this one. Okay, so there is the base that we're working with now. Foundation, concealer, powder. I'm going to move on to bronzer, and I'm using the Master Bronze and Highlight Kit, and it only comes in one shade. You get 3 different shades of bronzer, but to be honest, what I do is I just kind of swirl all of them together. They all kind of have a little bit of a subtle sheen, so I just take my brush and I literally just swirl all 3 of the bronzer shades together, and then I just start kind of bronzing the face. It gives a really soft color. It's not anything that's really dramatic. So I don't know how great this works on deeper skin tones. Maybe if you just really concentrate your brush on one of the shades, because like this one's a little lighter, and then this one is kind of darker but warmer, and then this one is darker and cooler, and then this is your highlight shade. So maybe if you really concentrate your brush in the darker shades, you'll be able to get more color. But for me, it's just this kind of swirling my brush is really easy and really nice and just fast to do, and it gives a really kind of nice just neutral bronze color to the skin. It's not overly warm and it's not overly cool. It just gives a really nice color, and it's not overly matte either, which I like. Like, it's just a nice natural sheen on the face. Okay, now for blush, I'm going to go in with the Master Blush Color and Highlight Palette. So same thing, it's just blush. Now this one I really love and I've raved about a lot because you get 3 distinct blush colors. And I think if you're going to do a blush palette, this is the way to go because you get a peach, a pink, and a plum. Like, you could easily throw this in your bag and travel and you have all the shades you need, and you get a nice highlight shade in here. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take a little bit of the peachy shade. I don't usually do a super peach cheek. This one has a little bit more like a pinky peach look. It's not overly warm, but since I am doing kind of a more like warm eye with the Burgundy Bar, I want to kind of accent that on the face a little bit, but it's still bright and I got way too much. Oh goodness. So we're gonna have to blend that out. It's still a brighter peach, so I think it looks really nice and fresh on the skin. I love blush. I think it transforms a look. You know, I think some people are more into bronzer, some people are more into blush, and clearly I'm just more of a blush girl. So I'm just going to blend that out. Okay, so now I'm going to take the highlight shade in the blush palette here and just add that on the tops of my cheeks. It's a really pretty color, and I also like the highlight in the bronze palette. It's just a little bit deeper of a highlight. It's more goldish, which I think is really, really pretty, especially on my skin tone when I have a little bit more color in it. But right now, I just don't have that much color in it, but it is really, really pretty. So maybe I'll add a little bit of that, just right on top, actually. Kind of on top of the other one. Let me see what this looks like here. I'll be glowing for days. Good grief, Andrea. Okay, now we're gonna go back in. We're gonna blend real lightly over that, just so it's not so streaky looking. All right, so that's what we're working with for the face. Now, I don't have an eyeshadow primer from Maybelline, so I'm going to go in with another drugstore one. This one is the MILANI. I know Maybelline makes one. I just honestly completely forgot to pick one up for this. So I'm going to go ahead and prime the eyes here. Okay, and then actually while that sets, I'm going to do the brows. Now, I have a couple brow products from Maybelline I really enjoy. I like the Total Temptation Brow Definer. This is in the shade Soft Brown. It comes with a real tiny little spoolie here. So you can really kind of brush through the brows and make sure the color is really nice and dispersed through it. And then it's more of like a teardrop shaped pencil. It's super creamy though, so just be light-handed, because no one wants Sharpie brows, right? And see this little spoolie? You can really get in there and disperse that color so nicely. Now, I'm gonna do the other brow off camera, but what I want to do is I want to show you guys this. I use the Brow Precise Perfecting Highlighter, and I use it right under the brow when I'm done, just to carve it out. I have used so many of these, can't even tell you. It's like crazy. And then I just take this brush from e.l.f. It's the Flawless Concealer brush, and just kind of blend that out. And it gives my brow such a nice matte highlight. and it's such a nice clean shape now on the bottom. So I love that. So I'm gonna go and do this other one because it's not that exciting to watch people do their brows. Okay, brows are done. So we are going to move on to eyeshadow now. So the beloved Burgundy Bar. It's good, guys. It's real good. I like it a lot. So, okay, I think what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to take this, you get two matte shades right here, and this one I'm going to use kind of as a transition color, just real lightly. I tap off my brush because it is kind of dark for a transition shade for me, so I like to make sure it's tapped off real easily, or really well. I don't know what I'm saying. The mattes in here blend so well, you guys. Okay, now, oh, what do I want to do? I really love this gold shade right here. It is stunning. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to throw that on like the inner half of my lid. Just because it's so pretty. I love this color. It's just a really pretty kind of like neutrally gold. It's not super yellow or anything like that. But it has a little bit of depth in there, you know? Okay, now I think I'm going to take this little brush from Real Techniques. It's like on an angle. It's really nice. I love this brush. And do I want, which red shade? I think I'm going to take this red shade over here. That's the one on this finger. It's just a little bit more red, where this one's a little bit more kind of like coppery. I'm going to take this one right here. And I'm going to place that on the outer half of my lid and kind of blend it together with that gold. I've done this look before with this palette, and I love the way it looks. And I take that like slightly up into my crease, but not too much. I just want to keep it pretty low, but I do want to just help it blend a little. Okay, now I'm just kind of wiping off this brush on my towel down here, and I'm going to go in with that same gold that we used, and just sort of, I didn't even wipe it off too much because, to be honest, like, I'm just trying to blend the two shades together, so if there's some red left over on this brush, that's okay. I'll just help the blending process. And I just kind of go right over where the two shades met, just to sort of blend everything together like that. And then I think I don't want to go super dark. So I'm going to take this shade that we used first, this matte kind of medium brown color, and just kind of put that back in my crease and blend out that red shade. See, I love this look because it's warm, but it's not overly warm, and it's not super dramatic. It just looks so beautiful. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to keep it super simple, and I'm going to go in with kind of a like smudgy brush, like a little pencil brush here. No, it's not a pencil brush. It's like a small little crease brush, blend, like blowout brush, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just taking that brown that we used in the crease, and I'm just going to put that on the lower lash line. And I'm really going to make sure it connects to that upper lash, you know, the upper part of it, so it really just kind of makes that circular look. Okay, now for the inner corner highlight, I'm going to take a small brush, and I'm going to take this shade right up here. It is like a champagne cream kind of color, and I would say it's more like off-white cream, and I want to just take a little bit of this. It has a nice kind of like, it's not super metallic, it's a nice kind of satin finish, and it really does brighten up very well without being super stark white. So I'm just going to put that right here. Okay, so I've really not been into eyeliner lately. I know it's super weird, but I just haven't been. But I did pick up a new mascara. It is the Total Temptation Waterproof. I always wear waterproof mascaras. To be honest, even Maybelline ones kind of tend to smudge when they're waterproof, but I decided to give it a try because a lot of people like that Total Temptation mascara. So I'm just going to curl my lashes here and then throw that on. Okay, so mascara is on. I will say it's a pretty like dry formula for a mascara. I do like that though because I feel like it really builds up my lashes really beautifully, and I really like the way my lashes turned out. I think they look really, really nice. So overall, I really like this mascara. Obviously, the test is going to be how well it wears, and I will leave that in the description bar below, or maybe like a pinned comment kind of letting you know how this worked for me, because this is something I haven't tried before. So for lips, I'm going to go in with one of these Superstay matte inks. I rave about these all the time. I love these liquid lipsticks. I think they're so, so nice. And this is the shade Poet. And these are just so full color, and they're not overly drying, and they last a really long time on the lips. So I love this lip color because I think it just adds a really nice kind of like peachy, fresh look to the skin. I probably could have used a lip liner with it, but you don't really need to, and I didn't really have to go back in a bunch of times, which is also what I love about these. So overall, guys, this is my full face using Maybelline products. I will say a couple things that I did not use that were, or that I used that were not Maybelline. My eyeshadow primer and my setting spray. I did not have a Maybelline setting spray. I have used the FaceStudio one before, and I really like it. I just don't have it on me right now. So I just went in with my Urban Decay All Nighter because I really want this makeup to last. Also, I went in with my CoverGirl Clump Crusher on the lower lashes because it's just a habit. I just can't even help it. And I started doing it and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be like, I put the Maybelline one down and grabbed this and just went for it. And I was like, oh yeah, but oh well. So those are the only 3 things I did not use that were Maybelline. You obviously can find an eyeshadow primer and a face setting spray from Maybelline and a mascara for your lower lashes. I mean, no one has to be that extra and use 2 mascaras, but I do, so whatever. But overall, the rest of everything was Maybelline, and I really like the way this look came out. I think it looks nice and fresh and warm, but it doesn't look overly dramatic. It's really wearable. I love, love, love the way my skin looks. I think it looks really natural, but still covered, and that is mainly due to the FitMe foundation and concealer and powder. I just absolutely love it. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!